In this lesson, I'm going to show you how to create some dynamic interaction using Vue, and it's going to be really easy to add these event listeners. So in the previous lesson, we had struggled with this toggling of this output, and we've had to flip back and forth in order to update that. But if we add in an event listener, we can maybe update this on the fly, and we can see that how the two-way data binding is really going to allow us to create this awesome interaction with our Vue content. And with any event, it's usually a good idea to have an associated function. So just like when we're using it within JavaScript or jQuery, we associate that event and we run a function. So the same thing as onClick and then fire off that function. So within Vue, we've got what's known as methods. And we can add these in within that same format as we were previously with the Vue instance, where we were adding in the filters and so on. So if we want to add it in here, we can add in the methods, and as well we can also create them globally if needed as well. So it's going to be that same type of format. So just as the data, methods, these are essentially like the function names. So if we wanted to pop up or something like that, I can indicate that's going to be the name of the function, and then this is what I want to happen whenever this is triggered. So I'm going to just simply have an alert. So just a typical alert that's going to say hello world whenever we fire off this event. So now we need to go into our HTML here, and I'm going to add in a button. And of course this can be any type of element that you want. So much like anything else with JavaScript, we can add these event listeners to any event, and the directive is going to be v_on, and we're going to be listening for a click. And of course we do have options to do other ones as well, and we just here we indicate what that function name is, or what that click name is going to be. Open alert. So let's try this out. Open up our browser, refresh it, and now we see that we can fire off that event listener as we click through and trigger that event to happen. The really neat thing about it is you can take it one step further and we can output things. So if we've got a message there or something like that, so I can add that message in. And the really neat thing about Vue is that it treats this all as an isolated scope. So all of this, we have access to all of this data via this object. So this already contains message output, and all we have to do is specify this message. And check this out. When I go out and if I refresh it, we're actually going to be pulling through hello world from the message object. And of course, if we have an input here, and if we're changing that input, where we're doing the vbind, and we're binding this over to message, and now refresh that again. So now that should be vmodel, so I think I did the vbind instead. So actually it's vmodel when it's ever in the inputs there to bind it over. So let's check this out now. So now we see that it is actually bound, and whatever we're updating here, we get it dynamically output through there. So whatever information we're typing in here in the input, we see it's bound to that message object, and we can utilize that information contained within that object into the rest of our JavaScript.